Hello, this is the first video for AP Literature for the second semester in 2021. I'm Miss Deegan. I'm going to make this an intro video, so it doesn't really contain any content. I will make one of these every day, and typically it will contain content. So it forms a sort of direct instruction component of the class. It can be like a textbook. I say this at the front end because if you're watching the video, you probably weren't in class, or you're just curious, I guess. That is possible. It's possible to attend asynchronously by watching my videos to find out what I have to say about the content. That's what I do in class. So if you're choosing to do the work asynchronously, you would watch these videos, which are usually about 10 to 15 minutes long, and you'd use them to guide you as you do the work for the day. And that is fine with me. I think it's very collegiate. I think coming to class has a lot of benefits. You can talk to me a little bit more about your ideas, talk to your classmates. You hear a little bit more in a longer Zoom when it comes to analysis than you can hear in my 10-minute video. But I recognize that we need to be flexible. We need a schedule that allows for everybody to succeed on their own terms. And so I'm designing a video system that would allow you to complete all of the work asynchronously, or, sometimes if that's what you need. So that's how we're going to do this. I'm always going to start on a Schoology page or on our agenda because I want you to see where I'm getting this stuff so that you know how to do it yourself. So here's our Schoology page, and you can see here is our agenda. This was the agenda for Monday the 1st. I'm going to click on the slides in a moment here. If you're watching the video, you'll never be able to do the Nearpod. I always have a Google slide version instead. So we did a little intro. I'm using Amanda Gorman on this first day to set up the class, and then I go over the syllabus, which is rather painstaking. I'm going to be doing that in this video, but I really want you to understand the class because there are components of it that are pretty non-traditional. And then we went through the hill we climb. And if you're doing the Google Slides version of this, you are mostly going to be responding using this stem. You can see already that we're doing interviews during asynchronous time. I'm just trying to get to know you. That's all. They're really informal. And then there is a reading due for tomorrow. It's this second entry in your packet called The Story of an Hour. Short story, probably 10 or 15 minutes of reading for you. As long as we're on Schoology, I'll show you one other document that's helpful. This is the weekly view of what the class looks like week by week. It contains all of the major assessments and assignments in red, and then a look at what we're doing that week. So it's a little bit more detailed than the daily agenda. All right, so on to Amanda. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you the video because of copyright, but I will talk you through what I did, say, in class. My question, these are Nearpod slides when you see them. By the way, you're going to be like, what is that? It's me asking the class, how many people have seen Amanda Gorman speak, especially at last week's inauguration for President Biden? Just wanted to know. Here she is, Amanda Gorman, the star who has swept the nation. 22 years old and already a Youth Poet Laureate of the United States. So what we did was watch her video first to enjoy and experience poetry. Such a huge component of my class is poetry. And then we had a quick reaction. What is your reaction to the poem? Do you like it? Why? If you don't like it, you have to be a little more specific. What exactly about it did you find to be not as helpful? But everyone I've talked to really likes it because I'm going to make some arguments about Amanda Gorman. I think her perspective is so hopeful at a time where our nation needs that. We've emerged from a long, dark winter. We're actually still hibernating a little. And a voice of someone young like you, who has energy and optimism and dreams, it livens the spirit. I think that young people see themselves in Amanda Gorman, and older people, I'm going to count myself as older here, see a former optimism that they had and want back in Amanda Gorman. So the poem, which we look at the rest of class and analyze, it speaks to the great tradition of American poetry that reflects on the American experiment, how we failed and how we try again. How maybe it's not broken in its inception, completely broken. Maybe the nation is both good and evil, always has been, and that our attempts always should be towards the good. She captures that beautifully. I want to say something else about Amanda Gorman. She is really involved in social activist poetry, slam poetry, but this sounds like a speech. A lot of people call it that until they realize poet laureate. It's a poem. When I see it replicated, it's often done in prose. And so she blurs the lines between what is prose and what is poetry, and what does it matter? It doesn't matter. A lot of what we do in this class is going to be poetry, and I'm going to try to borrow her spirit as much as I can to say the thing that matters is the heart of the poem. Don't get so worked up about the structure and the way that the lines are broken. And don't ever say, I just don't do poetry. If you are human, you do poetry. Poetry is simply excellent language. That's it. So we'll look at a lot of it, and this is a wonderful bridge between the worlds of prose and poetry. I also love Amanda Gorman because she went to Harvard, she majored in sociology. She is this amazing poet, but you can be so many things at once. You don't have to identify as a student who wishes to go be an English major to get something out of the study and the experience of literature. Of course I believe this. I'm an English teacher. I am not an English teacher because I hope to convert all of you into English majors. It's just the way I make sense of the world. I have a lot of things I care about, and I have a lot of things I feel that I could do well. You do too. And if poetry and studying literature is one of them, and you are here because you think you might build a life around that, I welcome you. But if you have some other ambition that really doesn't have anything to do with literature, and yet there is a piece of you that loves that, then I welcome you. The study of literature and poetry is a human thing. It's not a career-based thing. It's not an objective thing based on finances. It's simply something that we should do because art points to what is true about us. So no matter what it is you see yourself doing in 5 years, that thing will be multifaceted. Some of it will be for a job and some of it will not. Some of it will be for your family and some of it will be for you. But some of it, I hope, will be just to study humanity in the way that we are. And as casually or as seriously as you like. That is where this class lives. It's what inspires me. And that's why I'm inspired by Amanda Gorman. So after we watched it and after we talked about what we thought of her and her poem, we worked into literary devices. These are a series of questions about literary terms, just trying to get a sense of what terms you feel comfortable with, which ones you know. I'm using the percentages from the class to represent the percentages as a whole. This is anonymous. So I'm asking about things like imagery, metaphor, simile, and then perfect rhyme, imperfect rhyme. And then enjambment, end stopped line, it gets harder. And then the last one is chiasmus, anaphora. Do we know what these mean? I'm just curious as I begin to build out your AP Literature vocabulary. Here are all of those devices at once. You can use one of them if you like in your STEM. You do not have to. Your classmates are then doing this activity where they have to. They are going to take a literary device and apply it to their knowledge of the poem. So they're going to pick maybe metaphor and say, this is where I see it. Or anaphora if they want to challenge, and this is where I see it. For you watching this video at home, the big thing you need to take away is here, our big Google Doc. The big Google Doc is the structure of the class. All of your writing will be contained there. Imagine it as a digital notebook. You don't submit it to me. Instead, you leave it on your desk. I come look at it. That's kind of the equivalent. Always write the dates in your big Google Doc. That's pretty much it. So it's going to say week 1, February 1st to 5th, and then Monday. Here's what you write. Stay with me. It's strange. Write Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, enchanted a nation seeking hope. Those are my words. And then I want you to finish the sentence 3 ways. using but, because, and so. You might have done this. It might be something you've done in a grammar exercise. Indeed, today I am trying to get a sense of your grammar. So this is me testing. Do you know where to put the comma? Do you know how to build a second phrase? Do you know how to build a complex sentence? All of this will help you and me determine what goals you want to set in the class. So just repeat that. Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, enchanted a nation seeking hope, but Gorman's poem, The Hill We Climb, enchanted a nation seeking hope, because you'll do it 3 times in your document, and you will write perfect sentences, as perfect as you can make them, so that we really have something to look at to determine, okay, where do you struggle? Where are you? All good. I'm not grading it, don't worry. That is the big Google Doc. All right, story of an hour. Please read that tonight for class tomorrow. It's short. Now, the class. This is where I get into the syllabus. Oh my goodness. The best thing you can do for yourself if you're watching this video is read the syllabus. It is long and I apologize. It's from the heart. It's everything I've got for you. It's right here. I'm going to open it up on my computer. It's a little bit easier for me to see. I'm going to try to go through the highlights. It's kind of stream of consciousness. I have gone through and tried to organize it as best as I can, but it's just a bulky document because there's lots of nuance. So in 4 minutes, let's try to capture what matters. The big thing to start with is grading. Our system is unlike others you've probably used. Here it is. Let me paraphrase. I don't assign traditional grades. 85% of your grade in this class will be determined through goal-oriented conferences. So at the beginning of next week, you will set 3 goals, course goals. They have to align to the goals of the class. It can't be like perfect my golf swing. It has to be something aligned to AP Literature. And I'll give all of those goals out to you so you can see what they are. You'll choose 3 that match your personal goals. And then you and I will have 3 conferences throughout the semester where you propose to me your grade based on your achievement of those goals. You have to have data. So every Thursday we'll take time to reflect on, all right, what have you got? Have you grown in the world of the goal that you set? The other 15% of the grade is from the timed essays. Those are, I think, a very collegiate skill. No matter what you go to experience next, on-demand writing is a huge part of our lives. So I want you to feel the weight of it. 15%, you can drop the lowest of our 4. You have 1 opportunity for revision there. So it's objective, but it's flexible. So that's our grading system. The content is really about these specific critical thinking skills: character, setting, structure, narration, figurative language, and then literary argumentation. That's what we do here. The content domains are poetry and fiction. There are some essays, but this is not AP language. There's very little nonfiction in this class. Homework is reading. It's really reading. I will give you class time for almost all writing assignments except 2, where you will have longer papers to write. Not too long. We have a very short semester, so I've chosen 3-page papers. For those papers, you will have to spend some outside of class time. For almost everything else, as long as you're using your time well during our synchronous class, it's reading. It's a lot of reading, though. So as you move into your asynchronous time, or if you're doing everything asynchronously, take the paper copies I've given you and really immerse yourself in the world of the reading. It's a huge part of the class. I cannot give you time in class to read. We just don't have it. Okay, student participation. I use Nearpod in class to track your thinking so you can write your thoughts rather than speak them. I'll never call on you. If you identify collaborative work skills as a goal, I will put you in a breakout room with other students who've identified that goal and expect that you're talking through some of your ideas. If you've identified public speaking and presentation as a goal, I will expect you to sometimes speak in front of the whole class. But if you haven't identified either of those as goals, then you're going to show me your thinking through writing, and then probably one-on-one conferences. Writing is structured. You can see here. Every day, I have a very specific skill we're going to be working on. There will be timed essays, and there will be smaller pieces as well. There's the 2 longer papers I read about there. This is a review of the shape of daily class, so you can look through that. I've got the texts. You have them in your hands, and there's 3 novels that we'll be reading. Late work, I accept it. Don't cheat. There's my contact info. First day class, everybody. Thanks for being here.